Imagine this, if you will. You are hired simply because you check the requisite number of boxes on a DEI application form, and you are afforded a high-profile position within a franchise with a new entry coming out, and your contribution to said franchise is widely regarded as some of the most destructive, subversive trash we have ever seen in gaming. You end up leaving under your own volition, only to accept another job where you are going to be afforded the keys to the castle of another high-profile franchise, only to do it all over again. I know that sounds like an introduction to an episode of The Twilight Zone, but this is the life and times of Corrine Busche, ladies and gentlemen. Dragon Age the Veilguard director Corrine Busche, hired by Wizards of the Coast for Skeleton Key Studios after leaving BioWare. After it was announced that it was gutted several times over, and then it was confirmed that less than 100 people work at a former studio that employed in excess of 500 people. But yeah, the actions of Corrine Busche on the Veilguard will be something pointed to specifically, not just simply as the end of the Dragon Age franchise or the closure of BioWare as a once prominent studio, but its ripples are going to be felt throughout the industry for years to come. I mean, Avowed is going to be getting its comparisons here in the very near future. I have a good feeling on that one. The fact that this hack continues to get hired in other places kind of lets you know that gaming at a certain level is pretty much cooked, man. Like, it's a wrap here, okay? Like, some people have faith in the indie market, but I just think that there's too much slop to appropriately mine all the gems from it. And then once you hit like a AA level, like you got Kingdom Come Deliverance, which for as much as I want to give the game the benefit of the doubt, like, it just looks boring as hell. It doesn't really enthusiastically grab me like other things have before, or the way that Daniel Varvo would like for you to optionally choose the game to. But you just got, spurgy developers at the AA level and then AAA in the West. Like, it's a wrap, bro. We're going to have to get saved from the East, but God, there's only so much anime nonsense that I'm just willing to troll through in order to get a good experience. I'm just going to go back and, I'm just going to play old games now, because to see this type of idiocy constantly rewarded, it doesn't imbue me with faith that this industry is going to get better anytime soon. But yes, let's just gloss over this once again, because I know we've already been here. This is just, a setup for, oh God, the horror that is yet to be released upon this world, and a move that has sparked immediate controversy and proved that it's more than possible to fail upwards in the gaming world. Wizards of the Coast has reportedly hired Dragon Age the Veilguard director Corrine Busche to work for its newly formed Skeleton Key Studios. Yes, because when you're developing a new studio and you have a ton of lucrative IPs under your control, you just decide, hey, you know what? Somebody who spearheaded one of the most spectacular disasters in gaming in the past 20 years, we need that thing right there. You need to come over here. You need to go ahead and pack up your dilator, pack up all of your exogenous hormones. You need to just get your ass down here, and we need to make a game, okay? And by game, I mean a self-insert piece written with your fan fiction. Corrine, we need your skills down here right now. This development, first reported by Diversity and Dragons and later confirmed by YouTuber Smash JT, suggests that the Veilguard director has quietly landed a new role producing the most notorious bomb in BioWare's long-running RPG history. Busche left BioWare shortly thereafter, claiming that it was a voluntary move. That came just before BioWare gutted their entire studio, laying off most of their activist writers who worked under Busche on Veilguard. So I left of my own volition. It just so happened that everybody I worked with ended up getting the old heave-ho in the aftermath. Oh, it just looks like, hey man, I just got the call. I don't know why I can't get everybody else to come over, but I would imagine there's probably going to be some interesting developments that we'll see here if you pay attention to the LinkedIn pages into the future. According to Smash JT, an anonymous source within Wizards of the Coast discovered Busche's name listed in the company's internal team organization chart, confirming the hire before any public announcement was made. And the source reportedly expressed a great frustration over the hiring. I'm not pleased about this turn of events, the source reportedly said to Smash. Yeah, exactly, because Wizards of the Coast, I think they're probably most infamous for having the rights over the Magic the Gathering stuff, and that's quite lucrative. There's a lot of stuff that could be done with that, and then they also could just be branching out and doing other things as well. So setting up a specific gaming studio under the stewardship of a company that is, just as equally woke as BioWare is It's a recipe for disaster, but it actually gets worse than what your wildest dreams could have thought of, because Dragon Age, the Veilguard director, quietly hired by new studio that might develop Baldur's Gate 4. Oh shit. Oh my god, because, okay, cool. If they went and poached somebody who worked on Dragon Age, I guess didn't check the specifics of which Dragon Age they were working on, and they're looking at doing another fantasy RPG. Oh shit. This ain't good. Okay, Dragon Age: The Veilguard's lead developer, Corrine Busche, has already secured a highly reputable position after recently leaving BioWare. The director has been hired by Wizards of the Coast and the newly formed Skeleton Key Studios. Baldur's Gate 3 fans are immediately concerned with this unexpected development. Dragon Age: The Veilguard director, yes, left BioWare after the game's colossal flop. Yeah, there's no other way to spin that. Okay, they got 1.5 million engagements, half of what EA was anticipated, and engagements does not mean sales. Fans of Baldur's Gate are now anxious about the possibility of Corrine heading the next project, which, geez. Sources close to the credible insider and YouTuber Smash JT have revealed that Corrine Busche now working. Yes, we already went over that. For those not in the know, Corrine Busche is one of the lead figures who are blamed for ruining the Dragon Age series with the highly controversial approach to the Veilguard following the director's supposed voluntary departure. BioWare also pruned the studio by firing all Veilguard writers, reducing the total size to less than 100 to focus on the Mass Effect game that still is in pre-production. Like, there's nothing moving on that one. I would be shocked within the next couple of years if we see any sort of movement on Mass Effect 5. Maybe if it just gets moved out of the hands of BioWare, that would be about it. On a side note, some of the Veilguard writers, yes, are now working on Ghosts of Yotei, which I'm recording this before the state of play, which we might be seeing more of, and I might be talking about here if that ends up being a part of Sony's presentation this week. So we'll see what goes on there. That's another game that I'm very skeptical about. Wizards of the Coast has not officially confirmed Corrine's move to Skeleton Key Studios, which, yeah, when we see their name, because I would imagine they're going to have some sort of announcement, some sort of game that they're working on, and if they try to sell this as, hey, this is a studio brought up of some of the greatest minds in gaming, they've worked on this project, they've worked on this franchise before. Hell, we even have a veteran from BioWare and the Dragon Age franchise, and it's like, oh, which one specifically? Oh, that one. Oh, God. But they'll never get into those specifics, right? They're just still, the games industry, man, they're just archaic in their updating, where they still think that all of this diversity, inclusion, and equity stuff, because how else could you explain Corrine Busche getting hired? Because obviously, not very talented, you were writing Veilguard, okay? You were doing all of those self-insert bullshit crap, and that was the least of that game's worries, because the slop gameplay, that was really bad. Like, okay, you can forgive. I wouldn't say that it would be an acceptable narrative, but you could go ahead and, explain away a couple of cringe characters, or maybe a story that doesn't make a hell of a lot of sense if you had fun gameplay behind it. But as director, you thought that repurposing a bunch of mobile slop was going to be somehow acceptable to a formerly feature-rich RPG franchise? You thought that that was okay. Okay, EA thought that that was okay. BioWare thought that that was okay. And now Wizards of the Coast and Skeleton Key Studios think that that's going to be all right. Because, yeah, as it's pointed out, this studio is expected to develop Baldur's Gate 4 in the future, since Larian Studios, who made the exceptional Baldur's Gate 3, denied the proposition. So, yeah. People are just out here connecting the dots, figuring out, okay, if Larian doesn't want to work on it and Wizards of the Coast is just sitting on this IP that they know, like, they could still get a couple of years out of Baldur's Gate 3 because the game is still cracking a consistent 6-digit player count on Steam. Like, there's no reason to expect that there's going to be a quick follow-up on that one, but we also know lead time on development for a bunch of these games, and well, just because Baldur's Gate 3 was a crowdfunded success way back in the cut, do you think that that same treatment is going to be afforded to Baldur's Gate 4? Or is it immediately going to get fast-tracked into a tentpole AAA release? Whenever you see an entertainment industry property, okay, you get a little indie hit. I mean, one of the most perfect examples that came out in recent years, Joker 2019, okay, $50 million budget, and Joker 2, $250 million budget. 2019 made over $1 billion, and Joker 2, well, less said about that the better, because I don't know which has more brain rot attached to it, Corrine Busche or Joker 2, but I digress. You got a game in Baldur's Gate 3, which was true to the fans that crowdfunded it. They got to experience the game from the ground up, and they made it into something that was a phenomenon in 2023. The best performing game, the Game of the Year winner from multiple different outlets, and justifiably so. Meanwhile, the Veilguard got one nomination at the stupid Game Awards at the end of the year because they had a bunch of stupid accessibility options, and guess what? They fucking lost that one. Now, BioWare lost one of their tentpole franchises. They're about to lose their studio. They're about to lose everything, all because of this hack that is going to be off ruining another fantasy franchise in the next few years. It's just, it really does BlackPill you on gaming. But hey, they still can't take away your old games, at least at this point in time. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I'm Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.